Hello, it's Tom, editor of the Popcorn Muncher, and welcome once again to our YouTube channel. Now, in this week's video, I'm drawing something of an unlikely comparison between two very different movies that are in cinemas at the moment. I noticed something really interesting about the marketing campaigns for the heist reboot Ocean's 8 and the Buzzy horror movie Hereditary. Both films are doing very decent business in cinemas all over the world right now. But before I get started, I must warn you there are spoilers ahead for both of the films I just mentioned. So if you haven't seen Ocean's 8 or Hereditary, be aware that I'm going to be discussing major plot details in the next few minutes. Now, the marketing of any movie involves a very difficult balancing act. You have to show enough to get the audience intrigued, but not so much that the surprises of the film are all spoiled ahead of time. It's something we discuss really often on the Popcorn Muncher podcast, where we have a go at movies for giving away everything in their trailers. Most recently, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom had a lot of the plot stuff in its trailer. It's something we discuss really often. I mean, for example, imagine how brilliant the Hulk reveal in Thor Ragnarok would have been if it hadn't been all over the marketing previously. Or imagine how good Terminator Genesis would have been if... Actually, I can't even finish that sentence. So it's with that in mind that I was pleasantly surprised by the trailer campaign for Hereditary. In all of these previews, the character of Charlie, played by the brilliant young actor Millie Shapiro, is sold as front and centre and key to the mystery and the horror in the film. Her scariest moments and lines of dialogue feature heavily in the trailer, which is soundtracked throughout by the creepy tongue-clicking sound she makes. The final shot of the trailer even shows her face morphing with that of Toni Collette, the protagonist. Now, in a movie that, based on its title, hints at the horror built around family lines, it seems natural that the mother-daughter relationship between these two characters will be the focus of the story. Now, anyone who's seen the film knows that that is not true. Charlie does not last very long. She suffers a gruesome and horrible decapitation in a car accident about half an hour into the movie, and then is never seen again. Her presence is still felt in the story, but the character is completely absent. The marketing of Hereditary in this sense was masterfully done. It was controlled perfectly by the guys over at A24, concealing the biggest surprise of the story in order to amplify the overall horror of the film. It achieved exactly what marketing is supposed to do. It showed enough to whet the appetite, but saved the best bits for those willing to buy a ticket. Now that brings us to Ocean's 8, which is a very different story. This is a film where its title makes one element of the story very clear. There will be 8 people in this gang. For most of the film, though, there are 7. There's scope for this to be interesting, though, as audiences try to work out who the 8th member of the team will be. But unfortunately, every element of the marketing for this film conspired to give that twist away. In the main trailer for the film, we see Anne Hathaway's character being grilled about the diamond heist by James Corden playing an insurance investigator. The way she responds to the questioning clearly sets her up as a smart, wisecracking member of the team, working overtime to conceal the heist that's just happened. But what the trailers don't explain is that Hathaway spends the first 90 minutes of the film as an airheaded victim of the heist, being used so that Sandra Bullock's Debbie Ocean and her team can steal diamonds from around her neck. A simple line in the trailer casting her as the victim would have gone a long way to concealing what ultimately happens. As it played out, though, I never questioned whether Hathaway was a member of the team. I just assumed it to be true. And so when the movie tried to play her as the victim, I never bought it for a second. It's possible, in fact, that this played into my disappointment with the ending of the film. It seemed to lack the final killer twist of the knife that makes a heist movie really work. The final twist of the Rubik's Cube, if you will. That final twist was given away in the trailer. And that brings us to the more obvious problem with the Ocean's 8 marketing. By the time the trailer came out, they had already spoiled the ending. In fact, they spoiled it at the first possible opportunity. The first still image released from Ocean's 8 arrived in January 2017, 18 months before the release of the film. It showed the entire main cast in a sort of subway carriage, including Anne Hathaway. This image, which was incidentally also used in every trailer, so you stood no chance of forgetting it, is one of the final shots of the film, and therefore using it in marketing gave absolutely everything away. Lots of films use a climactic shot in their marketing, like John Wick Chapter 2 is the one that comes to mind most recently. But with Ocean's 8, The final shot was the main image used in promoting the movie. You could not get away from that, looking at Anne Hathaway's face right there in amongst the other cast members. Now, I really enjoyed Ocean's 8, but I was left disappointed because I knew exactly what to expect from it. That's the opposite of my experience with Hereditary, which was enhanced by the misdirection and intelligence of that marketing campaign. But at the same time, you have to consider whether that marketing leads to results and satisfaction from audiences. The weirdness and misdirection of Hereditary earned it a D+ result from the audience body CinemaScore, whereas Ocean's 8 is currently sat at a B+, 2 full grades higher. It seems that audiences actually do want to know everything about a movie before they go in. Maybe in the future, cinema chains should just print the last few paragraphs of the Wikipedia entry on the back of people's tickets when they go in. That's how you send people home happy.
In 3.5 weeks, the Met will be hosting its annual ball, and we are going to rob it. Lucky you. $16.5 million in each of your bank accounts 5 weeks from now. That's a lot.
But let me know what you think. Do cinema studios need to be more careful with the way they market movies? Should they keep the third act out of the marketing? What did you think of both Hereditary and Ocean's 8, in particular relation to the way they were sold? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel for more stuff, and you can also head over to thepopcornmuncher.com where there are reviews of both of those films, plus loads more, and the Popcorn Muncher podcast I mentioned earlier. And I'll also leave all of our social media stuff down in the description below so you can follow that. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching.